Welcome back to Midnight Hunt, where shadows hide more than you think. Tonight I'll share a story that has haunted me for years. A story about a house, my house, that was never truly silent. A place where the screams were never heard but always felt. This is the House of Silent Screams. I grew up in a quiet suburban neighborhood. It wasn't the kind of place you'd expect anything strange to happen. Just rows of brick houses, neatly trimmed lawns, kids riding their bikes after school. My parents bought our house when I was 8 years old. It was bigger than anything we'd lived in before, with wide windows, polished wooden floors, and a basement that smelled faintly of old rain. To me, it felt perfect. At least, at first. The first night we moved in, my mother kept saying how peaceful the house was. "It's so quiet here," she whispered, smiling as if the silence itself was a blessing. But I didn't hear silence. Not exactly. When I lay down in my new bedroom, I noticed something. It wasn't a sound I could describe, more like a pressure in the air. Like the house itself was holding its breath. And if I concentrated long enough, I could almost convince myself there was a faint noise, like someone sighing through the walls. I told myself it was nothing. Old pipes, the wind, my imagination. I was 8 after all. But that feeling never left. A few weeks later, small things started happening. Doors would creak open when no one touched them. Not slamming, not dramatic, just quietly easing open, as if the house wanted to peek at us. Lights flickered, only in the hallway. My dad replaced the bulbs twice before muttering, "Faulty wiring, that's all." Then came the nights. I'd wake up not to a sound, but to an absence of it. Like the entire house had gone mute. No hum of the fridge downstairs, no ticking of the clock, no cars outside. Just a void. And in that void, I would swear I could hear whispers. Too faint to catch words, but close enough to make my skin prickle. One night, I asked my mom if she heard it too. "Heard what, sweetheart?" she asked, folding laundry. "The voices," I said. "They're so quiet, but they're there." She laughed. Not cruise the way parents laugh when they think their child had a bad dream. "Honey, you've just been watching too many scary movies with your cousin. This house is perfectly quiet. Isn't that what we wanted?" Perfectly quiet. She kept using those words, but to me, it was never true. Things escalated in subtle ways. Our family cat Muffin refused to go into the basement. Every time someone opened that door, she'd arch her back and hiss, even when nothing was there. My dad joked, "Wes, she doesn't like spiders. But spiders don't make a cat hiss at shadows." And then there was the laughter. It happened once, late in the evening when my dad was watching TV in the living room and my mom was in the kitchen. I was upstairs doing homework when I heard it, soft, almost like it came from far away. A child's laugh, high-pitched, breathy, but unmistakable. I froze. "Mom," I called down. "What is it?" She yelled back. I hesitated. How was I supposed to explain that I heard another kid in the house when I was an only child? Nothing? I lied, but that night I pushed my desk against my closet door. I couldn't say why. Just instinct. By the time I turned 13, the strange moments had gone from subtle to undeniable. It started with the mirrors. One morning before school, I was brushing my teeth when I noticed something off. My reflection didn't move exactly with me. It was subtle, almost too quick to dismiss. When I leaned forward, my reflection lagged a half second behind. I dropped the toothbrush, blinking hard, and suddenly everything was normal. My reflection was me again, copying every motion. I tried to laugh it off, but deep down, I knew what I had seen. At dinner, I tried to bring it up. "Do you ever feel like the house is weird?" I asked. My dad chuckled. "Weird? What do you mean, champ?" "Like it watches us?" I whispered. They exchanged looks across the table. Mom sighed. "Honey, you've always had such an imagination. You need to focus on your studies, not ghost stories." That was the thing. No one believed me. But the house kept proving me right. At night, I'd hear footsteps pacing in the hall, slow and heavy. But when I opened my door, the hall was empty. Sometimes I'd wake to my bedroom door standing wide open, even though I locked it before bed. Once, I woke to find all the pictures in my room turned face down. My framed baby photo, my school award certificate, even a poster on the wall. All flipped. I screamed for my parents. When they rushed in, everything was back to normal. Every photo, every poster, exactly where it should be. "You had a nightmare," my mom insisted, holding my shoulders tight. "You just dreamed it." But I knew. I knew I hadn't. The basement was the worst. The air always felt colder down there, damp and heavy, and every time the light switch clicked on, shadows clung stubbornly to the corners. I never went down alone, but once, I had no choice. Mom asked me to grab laundry she'd left in the dryer. I gripped the railing and crept down, the steps groaning under my weight. At the bottom, I reached for the dryer door and froze. From the far corner of the basement, where the light didn't reach, came a sound. Soft at first. A wet, gurgling whisper. Then clearer. A voice. Help me. I dropped the laundry and bolted upstairs, slamming the basement door so hard the frame rattled. I was shaking too hard to explain. My dad was angry at first, then concerned. But when I told him what I heard, his face hardened. Enough, he snapped. You're scaring your mother. This is our home. There's nothing wrong with it. But there was. The voices grew louder, the whispers clearer. Sometimes it was pleading, sometimes sobbing, sometimes louder. Always faint, always from the walls, or the ceiling, or the floor. Always where no one else could hear them. And then one night, I woke up to find someone sitting on the edge of my bed. I couldn't see them fully in the dark, just a silhouette. Still, I knew it wasn't my mom or dad. The figure was too thin, too still, its head tilted too far to one side. Who are you? I whispered, my voice trembling. The figure leaned closer, and though I couldn't see its face, I felt cold breath on my ear. This is my house, it hissed. I screamed. My parents rushed in, flicked on the light, and of course nothing. No one was there. They tried to comfort me, but I could see it in their eyes they were scared too, even if they wouldn't admit it. The silence of the house was no longer peaceful. It was suffocating. Every corner felt alive, every shadow thick with something unseen. And though no one else believed me, I knew the truth. We weren't living in that house. We were trespassing. The final night began like any other. I was 17 by then, and I had learned not to talk about what I saw or heard. It only made things worse. But inside I was unraveling. Every creak, every breathless silence, it wore me down. That night the air felt different. Heavy, electric. I couldn't sleep, so I sat at my desk, pretending to read. Then, the whispering started again. Not from the walls this time. From inside my room, I froze. The whispers layered over each other, dozens of voices, speaking in tones too low to understand. They came from the corners, from under the bed, from inside the closet. Everywhere at once. Stop it, I begged, clutching my head. Please, just stop. The voices fell silent. For a moment, I thought it was over. Then came the scream. It wasn't loud in the normal sense. It didn't shake the windows or echo through the halls. It was inside me. A scream that filled my chest, my skull, vibrating through my bones. I fell to my knees, choking on air, certain my eardrums would burst. My bedroom door slammed shut. The lights flickered violently. I staggered up, yanking at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. Behind me, the room warped. The shadows stretched, the air went icy, and in the corner by my closet, something began to take shape. A woman. Pale, thin, her mouth stretched wide as if frozen mid-scream. But no sound came from her lips. Her jaw moved, open and shut, again and again. Silent. The silent scream. I stumbled back, tears streaming down my face. What do you want from me? I shouted. Her body twitched, jerking like a broken puppet, and with each twitch the silence grew louder. I don't know how else to explain it. The silence pressed against my ears, my chest, crushing me. Then she lunged. I don't remember what happened after that. 1 second she was inches from me, her face a blur of rage and emptiness. The next I was waking on the floor, the morning sun spilling into my room. The door was open. My parents were gone. No trace, nothing. Just gone. I searched every room, calling their names until my throat bled. But the house only answered with silence. The neighbors told me later they had never seen my parents. They said I must have been living alone all along. But I know that isn't true. I know they were here. I know the house took them. And sometimes, late at night when I return to that house, I hear them. Their voices faint in the walls. My mother calling my name. My father whispering, "Get out." But I can't, because I belong to the house of silent screams now. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you're still listening, remember this. Silence isn't always empty. Sometimes it's the loudest scream you'll ever hear. Sweet dreams if you can.